Yes, good morning, viewers all over the world. Welcome to Biography Ministry International. So this is Prophet John. So, viewers, today I just wanted to talk about my journey so far in life. This is just my story so far. I want to narrate to you how I started before I came to be where I am today, before I came to be a vessel in God's hands. Yes, I will start from when I was a child, as far as I can remember. As far as I can remember, I grew up in a religious home. My mom was very religious, is to say, because at that time around, my mom, when I'm saying my mom was religious, in the sense that on every morning we have devotion in the house. We have devotion in the house, and I could not read in my own mother tongue, but I learned how to read in my own mother tongue just through that devotion we had every morning. And each one would have a chance to read and to pray. So that is what I meant by when we were very religious. We would be going to church. We would be going to church most of the time, every Sunday. And mind you, every Sunday, you don't wash your clothes on a Sunday. That is how religious she was. To the extent that we don't wash on Sundays, but we cook and eat. But to wash clothes, it's regarded as working, like the Pharisees in those days, the days of our Lord Jesus Christ. They will not work on a Sabbath day. So that is how religious my mom was. And even my grandmother, when we used to visit her at the village, she was a very religious person, but not in that sense, but she was a Christian, is to say. My grandmother was someone who could hear angels, who could see angels, hear them speaking to her. And she had this picture that she used to have in those days, and I think we still have that picture in our house until now. So whenever it's a Sunday morning, when we have our devotion at home, our grandmother, after everything, she would give us that picture one by one and tell us to go in the corner and pray to God and tell God where you want to go based on what is on that picture, because the picture was having two sides. One road was going to hell, and on that road people were drinking, people were stabbing each other, people were fornicating, people were just following money and dancing, and at the end it's hell. And the other way was carrying a cross and wearing white robes, garments, and going through a door, and Christ will be welcoming you, and until you enter heaven, where God is. So, here at the side of going to hell, you could see that there was Satan there, a monster like a dragon, a big one, a green one, with a big fork, like grabbing people and pushing them into hell. So, as for me, I don't know about others, as for me, whenever I get this picture, I'll go in the corner and I'll cry to God. I was afraid to go to hell. So, I will cry to God and say, no, God, please help me. I want to go here where people are wearing white. I want to go to heaven. I want to go to Jesus. I want to come to you. So I will cry bitterly in that corner. After crying, I will take the picture back to my grandmother. Yes. So we grew up like that, and at the time, I even started asking my mom a lot of questions concerning God and heaven and Jesus. So whenever she makes devotions, I'll be the one to ask her many questions about God. Because I wanted to know, I wanted to really know who God is. Yes, and as it went on like that, we were sent at a school somewhere far from the city where we lived. Let me say like 600 kilos away from the city where we live. It was in the farm. There was a school there in the hostel. So we were there in that school, and I don't even know why we were sent there in the first place. But after I was in grade 3, then all of a sudden, grade 4, I just heard my mom saying that we are going at the school where. So there's nothing we would have done. We cried because we were not going to see our parents and our families for long. But either ways, we got adapted to that place. So as time goes on, there were scary things happening in that hostel. At night you could hear sounds of things running in the corridor, outside on the veranda. There was things running there, and you hear voices. And one day I could hear like a monster, or I don't know, it's a being that was breathing so hard that I was very afraid. I was in my blankets, cover myself, and I was breathing hard, but I did not make a sound. I was frightened by the being, and I heard it even climbing on my bed. But the next thing, it was morning time. We woke up. So when I grew up, I had that fear. I just had that fear in me. I don't know why I was so fearful, but I had that fear in me. So we grew up like that, and I really love God from my young age. I love God. I love the things of God. Wherever God is mentioned, I want to go there. I remember after my primary school, going to secondary school, it was, growing up in a religious home, for me, it's a good experience. And though because of how we grew up, in the society where we grew up, people drinking, it's just partying, go to shebeens. At the time, I even started smoking. I started smoking at a young age, but it's not like I wanted to smoke. It was just something that I was playing with. And not that I really wanted to smoke. I think the devil by that time, he wanted to destroy my destiny, my calling from God at a young age. The devil will always attack where there's light, where there is something. The devil does not just attack anyone. No. If you have a great destiny, that is where the devil will attack you. He looks at your star, he looks at that crown upon your head to attack you, to destroy you while you are still young, for you not to reach that destiny. So, Satan tried. With all he had, he tried by making me to drink, fornicate, shebeens, smoke. At the time, I even started smoking weed. I remember once I was in the northern part of the country, and there was a day I started smoking weed. I remember that day I started smoking weed, and I was drinking beer. And that day, I don't know what happened. But I found myself imagining. I don't know, was I imagining, or was it real, or I don't know. I was just thinking that people on earth are now crying upon my casket, and it's like I was not on this world anymore. It's like was my soul left, and it was looking at my body, and it was looking at people crying over me that I died, I overdosed on weed, and I passed on, and but I was still conscious of where I am. That was the thing. I was still conscious of where I am. So I drank a lot of water. And in the morning I woke up, I decided, no, I'm not going to take weed anymore. So by that time, I developed, because I think God was looking for me by that time, but the world was too much in me. I have gone deeper into the world. Because there is a saying that says, when God's purpose, when it is time for God to manifest His purpose or His will in a person's life, He also designs and arranges events which will continue to unfold until His purpose is revealed in our lives. So all those events now of me overdosing and thinking I was dead, a time came where I was just lying down in the room watching a movie. At that time, a headache started. A migraine. I don't even know it was migraine. Just started on one side of the head, and it was it's like a vein here was just pumping so hard, and I felt hot in my body. I started feeling nauseous. I started vomiting. I went to the hospital. They gave me some injections and paralyzed the nerve that was paining, just to paralyze it to ease the pain, because it was too much. I stayed there for 2 days. 3 days I felt better. And my cousins came there to get me. We went to get a haircut. And my cousin that day, he was having money. And it was like that day we were going to drink that day. So what God did was, because I cannot say it's the devil, because the devil will allow me to go and drink and mess up my life. So what I think is, what God did is, just after getting my haircut, I started feeling a strange feeling in my neck, a strange feeling, and my neck just got stiff. I could not turn with my neck. I could not walk. I had to go in a taxi and go back. Imagine I just came out of the hospital that day, get a haircut. About maybe 5 hours, I had to go back to that bed where I was before. I did not even find anyone on that bed. So it was like it was just waiting for me to come back. It was welcoming me back. Meaning it was not my time for me to go. So I came back with a stiff neck, and I stayed in that hospital. And for me, that is where I even started now listening to gospel songs and all that. I knew TB Joshua by that time, because I knew TB Joshua since 2006, if not 2005, 2006 there. I knew TB Joshua that time because my mom got some CDs. She was having some CDs about this man TB Joshua that was preaching and the healings and all this. So we always watch those CDs. We always watch them in the house. Because yes, by that time I went back to my city where my parents were after getting out of the hospital. But I went out of the hospital. I went with the truck back went to hike with my aunt or my cousin back to the city where my parents are. And I was praying with TB Joshua on TV by that time. I was praying with him on the TV when he was praying with the viewers. I just touched the screen and I got healed. I think in 2 days when I touched that screen, the other day I touched it, I got healed from that pain. So far the journey has been rough. I escaped near death misses. I missed death a lot of times. Car accidents where we I don't know, I remember some guy that stabbed me with a knife. I remember one person that even pointed a gun at me, but I did not fear. For me, there was no fear in me. The person just pointed a gun in my chest, but I did not fear anything. I was even telling the guy, do whatever you want. So it was just ignorance. I think the God was just with me by that whole time. And I remember a time when my brother, they went to rob a school. They went to break in a school, and they took computers, but they called me. My brother called me to come and assist them carry the computers. So out of ignorance, I went to carry the computers where they were sold. And there was a day I even remember he took someone's money out of a taxi. It was a neighbor that was driving a taxi. So the guy came and went in the house quickly. My brother went in and stole the money that the guy made that day. So him in the evening, he did not sleep in the house. But me, I slept knowing that I did not do anything. But when around 4 o'clock, the police came in the house and they were looking for my brother. And they asked me my name. I told them my name. They said, yeah, you also come. Meanwhile, the guy, the taxi driver, the neighbor, told the police that I was also with my brother, that I was together with him, which was not true. And when we went there, I found cases that are on my brother's name. And it's like those cases were transferred to me, since I'm the brother. Okay, but, and I think I spent 5 to 6 months. Imagine I was juvenile under parents' care. I was juvenile by that time, and I was still in school. But it was 3 cases. When I went on the court, on the podium, what do you call it? When the judge is presiding this case on me, then I'll get off. Again, it's me going on, then I'll get off. Then on 3 cases, then the judge decided that no, this boy is naughty. Why all these cases him? But I don't know what was going on. But for me, that time I did not know what was going on. But then he said I should remain in custody because I'm naughty. And my brother that time, I heard he stole all my clothes, he sold them, and he went to the northern part of the country and the village. He dodged the police. So I had now to take the punishment that was supposed to be for my brother. I had to take it. And in the prison, I was there in the prison for like 2 months, and I got acquitted with everything in the prison. And I don't know, but it's like God made me the head of that my cell where I was without my knowledge. All of a sudden I found myself asking my mother, because they will always come and visit us on Sundays. Then I told my mom, next time when you come, I want a Bible and olive oil. So she brought them the next Sunday, and we started worshiping. I started reading my Bible first, reading my Bible, and we started worshiping in that prison, in that cell, our cell. Started worshiping and praying. Even other prisoners in the other cells began to come in our prison just for that worship and praise. I don't know, there was just something about me that time, or us in the cell, that was attracting others. You know, when someone is in danger, or when someone wants to go home, is when they put their trust in God. People, they will never look at God with those eyes. Only when they are in trouble, when they see that now they are in trouble, it is when they will look at God. Since now we are praising and worshiping and praying, they were now also wanting to come and join us. So that was how they started coming, and I found myself praying for people. I found myself anointing them on their forehead with the cross. I was marking a cross on their foreheads with that olive oil. I did not know what I was doing by then. I never knew what I was doing. But as time goes on, When one of the prisoners in our cell will go to court, then I'll tell them, today you are not coming back when you go. Then truly it will happen. They will not come back. I will tell the other one, you today, you are not going home today. You will go next time. Then it will just happen again. My time came to go and I left. By that time, a lot of people went out already. So I was left. I left the prison. And I went back to school. By then, people, my schoolmates, my classmates, already heard that I was in prison and all that. And somehow they feared me, knowing that, no, this boy is naughty and all that. But yes, that was it. By the time, after maybe 1 month, or 2 months, or 3 months, 2 months, when I went back to the court, my parents were not there. My mom was in the village, and no one was there because I was supposed to be there with my mom or my guardian. And they put me back in prison because there was no one. And in prison there, when I went back to prison that day, I found a police officer. I think this guy loved God and he was listening to a worship song of an artist by Sinach, and the title was No Failure with God. But when this song was playing, it was like it was speaking to me, to my heart, that God does not fail. God does not fail. No matter what happened, no matter what situation, I will find myself. God will never fail me. God will never fail me. I started crying and weeping when I was hearing this song. Crying and weeping. It's like God was speaking to me. And all of a sudden, the next day, I went out. My aunt came to get me. And we went home. And from there, after all this, I forgot about what God was using me in the prison, in the cells, me praying for people and telling them you go home. It's like it was a sign of prophesying to people. And there was just this mystery around me that people would just want to be around me. And so I could not understand all those things. I did not understand all those things. So, and I was 14 years by that time. I was 14 years that time. Imagine a 14-year-old boy by that time. So, and I think I started smoking when I was 13. Because that was not smoking, that was playing with cigarettes. It was not smoking because I never became a chronic or an addict smoker. I never did. So from there, I looked at, now it's when I understand that God was showing me then. He was showing me then what He has called me for. The purpose He has called me for on this earth is to deliver the prisoners, set free the captives. So He was just trying to show me that He has called me to set His people free. Now from spiritual prison. That was physical then, but yes. So this is my journey so far. And there was a dream that I had. There was a dream that I had in those days. I was sleeping and I had in a dream, I was led to a river, but all of a sudden that river dried out. But under it was mud, but on top it was just, you can see that when the river is dried up and there were cracks of sand, the sand cracked, but under you can see there was mud. It was still wet, but mud. I was led to this river and I stood on the river bank and I heard the voice saying to me, "Stretch out your hand." Then I could not resist, I could not ask why. Then I just stretched out my hand. Then the voice said, say, dry bones rise again. By then I did not know even dry bones rise again. Meanwhile, it was in the book of Ezekiel. So when Ezekiel was told to prophesy to the dry bones to rise again. So I stretched my hand in that vision, in that dream. I stretched my hand and I said, dry bones rise again. And when I said that, my hand began to shake uncontrollably. It began to shake. So when it was shaking like that, I saw people, human beings coming out of that river, that dried up river, in that mud. People were coming out. As long as I was shaking my hand, people were still coming out. As long as my hand was still stretched out and shaking, people were coming out of the mud, out of the mud, out. These were people that were buried in the mud. But imagine, just for me to command dry bones rise again, it was just a word that I was told to say. And people began to came out of that mud. And all of a sudden, these people began to follow me. They started following me. A large number of people following me. And when they followed me, I started leading them. And on the way, when I was leading these people, I saw that a creature that appeared on the way. With horns, a creature with long horns, and its height was so. It did not have a human height. The height was extended. It was an extended height. It was not normal. I would say it was a monster or a demon. So when I was